about LabourStart. It might be the most efficient campaign organization in global labor, and we ought to all sort of take that to heart.
What do we do? Stand up like that! Not leave! Under attack! What do we do? Stand up like that!
Also make reference about a similar report done 30 years ago, around 30 years ago in 1988.
Solidarity forever! Solidarity forever! Solidarity forever!
LabourStart itself has been around since 1998. It began its life as a project of a non-governmental organization called Labour and Society, which was based in London, England. Our founding editor, Eric Lee, was employed by Labour and Society. He was exploring the utility or the usefulness of the internet for trade union purposes. LabourStart welcomes divergent views. We try to behave as a coalition so that we are focused on one particular issue, and that's using the internet to further global solidarity between workers and unions. Thank you again for coming to our conference. I hope you have a tremendous time.
No, really, I don't want to be on camera. No, I'm smoking. Okay, just stop it.
Good evening, brothers and sisters and brothers. My name is Winnie Ng. I'm the Unifor Sam Gindin Chair in Social Justice and Democracy at Ryerson here. How many of you are here for the first time in Toronto? Raise your hand. Wow. Welcome to Toronto. Welcome to Ryerson in particular. Ryerson has the largest part-time adult educations with an annual enrollment of over 70,000. And so tonight we are actually very honored, and you're in for a great treat to see this performance by the group that's part of the Act 2 studio, which is part of the 50 Plus program. That's a great example of how arts and activism comes together in bringing that message of solidarity. Individually, we beg. Collectively, we bargain. And to me, workers' power change is what takes place every day, be it here or everywhere. And that's what we're going to find out in this conference. In the labor movement, she's the LabourStart Conference coordinator. Angela is the backbone behind the conference. Angela will be
Hi there, everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to our conference this evening. I'm going to move us right along into the play. Now, this play is presented by the Act 2 studio here at Ryerson University. It's called Life on the Line: Women's Strike at Eaton's. And this is the story of the strike of retail workers against Eaton Centre in Ontario in 1944? No, 1984. I apologize. Forgive me. This play was created through a collaboration between a group of union women who has been active in the Women's Strike Support Coalition during the Eaton strike. The playwright, whose name is Pat McDermott, was a key member of the Women's Strike Support Coalition, and she interviewed many of the strikers. She had hundreds of pages of transcripts as a result of these interviews. So the script that these wonderful actors are going to perform for you tonight is based off of those transcripts, and this story is told in the original words of the women who were part of that strike.
Here's my union card.
Yeah. My hand was shaking as I handed over my dollar and signed the card. I thought, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah. Betty, Maria, come on, you
Come
guys.
on.
Look, I'm nervous about this whole thing.
Come on, I get it.
Okay, I'll go sign up. It's probably the only thing that's going to get us anywhere.
Just raise your hands if you support the candidates. I'll say their names. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Bernie. Please introduce the former president, international president of the Communication Workers America, and the labor advisor to Senator Bernie Sanders, Larry Cohen.
The fact is, we can build networks like this. Not just LabourStart, but movement-building networks of all kinds. And we can use those networks to build self-sustaining movements. It's not easy. This campaign is an example of how you can use electoral work, not by itself, but linked to other campaigns, as a way to do movement-building work. And so you get out of the trap, particularly that U.S. labor is in, and you begin to build a movement and a consciousness against austerity. Bernie Sanders is part of the fight against austerity. It's a global fight against finance capital, telling us all that this is the way it's going to be. And people accept it. And unions accept it. Lots of times we talk about a lot of things. The question is, what are we doing? If we believe that we can win, we got to act like it. Thank you all.
Someone is supposed to yell, open the line, and then we let in just enough cars, and then we close the line again. And that can be really tricky. Why? Did I wear high heels? I must be out of my mind.
Look at us. We're all dressed up. What were we thinking? We're gonna die of pneumonia out there.
Nothing in Brazil is simple. Nothing in Brazil is black or white. Everything is shades of gray. For the first time in the history of this country, there's rich, old money, white, corrupt politicians and business people in jail. This is an indicator of the social project. It's part of the broader social project. What is the labor movement doing? They're organizing like crazy. And their capacity to get people into the streets, their base into the streets, is unreal. It's incredible. People that are in the streets, it's all ages, it's all colors, it's all classes. It's very different than the guys who are wearing the yellow and the green, saying, we're the real Brazilians. This country's ours, it's not theirs.
It's chaos out there and my nerves are completely shot.
That's right. This whole thing is a big mistake.
Oh, for God's sake, we've been on strike for 4 hours. You gotta get a grip.
The government itself has said we need to look at our labour laws and figure out how we need to improve them. This didn't just happen. It didn't just mean that the government finally saw the light and they saw the message and said, oh my God, precarious work is so brutal, we need to actually do this. No, it's because we bloody fought for it, right? This is an incredible opportunity that we face to stand up against the 1%, to stand up against the government who has allowed this absolute deregulation of our labour market, and to stand up against the massive amounts of employers who are going to fight tooth and nail to keep the status quo. Because frankly, they're fine with how things are going. Thank you very much.
Just say no to Eaton's lies, defend our right to organize. Lies and tricks will not divide, workers standing side by side. Boycott Eaton's, boycott Eaton's.
Here in Ontario, the minimum wage is $11.25 an hour. In October, if you're working for the minimum wage, you'll get a 15-cent raise. It'll be the year 2040 before Ontario has a $15 minimum wage. So we think about the living wage in that context, and here I ask the question, what if we made workers truly resilient, truly able to make ends meet? I think that the living wage holds a quiet, respectable dignity to it. And as workers, I think it gives us hope. Hope that we can actually change the conversation and raise expectations about what it is we pay the lowest paid workers in our midst.
Come and support us, striking Eaton's workers. Don't buy your gifts at Eaton's. Don't buy your gifts at Eaton's. Don't buy your gifts at Eaton's. Please stay away.
We can't argue with the science. Global warming is real. There are ways to lessen our carbon footprint. But look, if we don't have water and we don't have clean land and clean air to breathe, I don't care how many jobs we have, it's not going to work.
The Drawn to Change collection features 9 comics ranging in length from 10 to 30 pages. These comics were completed as part of the graphic history project, as Julia was saying, and highlight different aspects of Canadian labour history. The history of working class struggle is a fascinating story of conflict and coercion, resistance and triumph. But working class history is not just interesting and exciting. It also contains important lessons that we can learn from and use to change the world today. As a whole, the comics in the collection showcase the courage and determination of workers who have fought for a better world. In fact, one of the central aims of the Graphic History Collective is to combine comics and activist history to emphasize the importance of hope. The histories of this collection span more than 150 years, cover many geographic areas, and discuss a variety of people, events, and struggles. What we hope Drawn to Change can generate new interest in activist comics and also demonstrate the importance of learning from the past as a resource to help guide present and future struggles today.
Different racial groups have been incorporated into the labor market, how they have been exploited. They have been exploited differently because the person is represented. Many of us in the movement are much more familiar with the work of justice and the representation of
and it's a recognition that this territory is bountiful. Lots of animals, great honey work, essential to our fulfillment and well-being.
You have friends, you have neighbors. They're all facing the same struggles.
Winnie was saying that she was actually part of this research back 30+ years ago. As you can see, it's called Sweet and Sour, the Struggle of the Chinese Restaurant Workers. This title is really just to remind the general public that as we enjoy the food in the restaurant, we need to consider the sacrifices that Chinese restaurant workers have made for our enjoyment. A significant number of our clients coming to us wanting to file employment standard claims are working in the restaurant. They work extremely long hours and with poor working conditions, and their rights are routinely violated by employers. This kind of issue does not just exist in the Chinese community. The similar employment violation existed in restaurant sector in general.
You know, when I think back on it, I realize the tremendous struggle that some of those women went through. Women who had no husband to fall back on. Women raising kids on their own.
We didn't want to let each other down. And when those few went back into the store who we knew had no need to go back, it made us even more determined to see it through.
We stood up to a huge corporation and chipped away at it until they finally listened to our demands.
Shame on you! RSU! 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 Mat, leave! Under attack! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! Mat, leave! Under attack! What do we do? Stand up, fight back! Shame on you! RSU! Shame on you!
As the most egregious violation of the Ontario Human Rights Code in Ryerson history. This is an opportunity for us to force this university and the employer to put a mirror up to itself and feel the embarrassment every single day until we are successful with the case and with the campaign. Thank you.
Women and unions fought and won for women to take maternity leave without reprisals. We fought, that's right. We fought and we won for better leave protections for all parents. We fought and we won human rights laws and no discrimination clauses in our collective agreements, including the collective agreement between the RSU and CUPE Local 1281. So on this Mother's Day, let's redouble our efforts to win justice for Jillery. We will not give up, we will not let up, we will not back down.
There once was a union maid who never was afraid of the goons and the ginks and the company finks and the RCMP who made the raid. She went to the union hall when a meeting it was called, and when the company guards came round, she always stood her ground. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm speaking to the union. I'm speaking to the union. I'm speaking to the union. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm speaking to the union. I'm speaking to the union till the day I die.
union's inspiration. Through the workers' blood shall run. There can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong.